Hi, would you like to become £64,000 better off just by becoming more financially literate? It really sounds like a cheesy infomercial, doesn't it? But I'm talking about something really serious that affects everybody. In fact, I'm arguing that 1 million people per year will become happier, have better mental health and better physical health. It is an indisputable fact that money problems are the biggest contributors to people's mental wealth and society's well-being because of crime and the like. My belief, and many people's belief, is that financial education will change that. Hi, I'm Steve. I'm a professional trader in the Forex and commodities market. But I'm not talking about trading. I'm talking about basic things such as financial planning, bookkeeping, entrepreneurship. What is a bond? How the stock market works, investing, the difference between looking wealthy and being wealthy, just basic subjects like that. It is a fact that education has a high probability of changing our beliefs. And from our beliefs, obviously, comes our actions. Let's just talk about one financial aspect of people's lives that creates a lot of these problems. There has been a 90% increase in the use of debt to buy cars since 2009. On average, every year, 2 million car loans are taken out. An even more staggering number is that the value of the total used and new car debt is 40 billion with a B pounds. And the scary thing is, 50% of those people taking out those car loans don't even know how much the car loan is. So let's suspend our belief a little bit. Imagine that we could go back to 2009 via financial literacy, and suddenly we release 1 million people per year from the awful crushing debt of monthly repayments on their car loans. What would happen? Well, suddenly the average car loan payment per month is £290, so about $400. Suddenly that money is in people's pockets. And remember, those 1 million people, as well as having £290 in their pocket per month, they also have financial literacy. So if they did nothing and just put it in the bank and saved it, in the end of 10 years, they'd have £34,000. Great, that's a good start. But if they put that £290 per month directly into an indices like the NASDAQ, over the last 10 years, that has averaged 13% per year. So at the end of the 10 years, that £290 they've saved from car loans would be worth £64,000. And all they've done is become financially literate and gone back to those values and habits that were there in 2009 to actually say, I'll find another way and not take out a car loan. So £64,000 sounds cool, right? But if you multiply that by 1 million people, that is £64 billion that is in the economy. Now you might say it was there before in the car loans, but it was going to people or organisations that were not necessarily in the UK. They're probably offshoring it into some huge financial organisation, never to be seen again. What is true is that middle and working class people who have money in their pockets will tend to spend it in the community and in society. So that 64 billion that is recouped, invested, doubled, actually will be spread amongst people we know in society, in local businesses, in business ventures. So the benefit to society is absolutely huge. Well, here's one proposal. It's not the only proposal, but starting with kids. In the UK, kids receive 3 years of education in a European language. Quite often it's French. I love France. I speak a little bit of French, but But the damning statistic is that only 6% of the UK population are fluent in French. So those 3 years, if I'm honest, is a complete waste. So let's spend those 3 years on financial education, transform the lives of our children and society by doing so. My proposal for adults would be that there would be some kind of financial literacy course before you could take out any kind of loan. So it would be funded by these kind of companies who want to offer loans, and it would be 6 to 12 weeks. People can take it in advance, and if they really need to make that retail purchase via debt, then they can do. But first of all, they go into it with their eyes wide open. At the moment, debt, unfortunately, is easy to come by. It's like walking into a sweet shop when you're hungry. So financial literacy for adults can start now as well. So I'm not even talking about student debt here, which is, in my view, worse. We offer no financial literacy training to our children. As soon as they start to become of age, we smash them with a huge debt for the next 10 to 20 years of their life. Incredible. Credit cards, again, I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about just car loans. Car loans, by resolving this and turning some people through financial literacy training, they could transform their lives. Why does the government let this happen? I think in reality, it's short-term poor thinking by the government. Something which could have such a huge impact on people's lives and society is completely ignored. So I blame it on poor thinking. But if you let the devil out and have a think about the other side of that coin, what debt does is it drives people to be very compliant employees. All they have to think about, obviously that crushing debt, is how do I meet my monthly repayments? And that doesn't make for a creative, innovative, happy society. Keir Starmer, the current Labour Prime Minister, talks about growth. Growth comes from innovation, it comes from creativity, it comes with people taking risks. And people with debt don't take risks. And this current lack of financial literacy, which could be easily solved, doesn't create innovation. It does the opposite. The likelihood of that top-down change is slim to nothing, which is, I hate to say that. So the answer is a bottom-up change. Individuals taking accountability and responsibility for themselves. What could you do now? Watching this video, thinking, yeah, it makes sense, but what can I do? Well, you can do something now. You could just read a book. I would suggest you could read a book by Ben Graham called The Intelligent Investor. If you've ever heard of Warren Buffett, then this is the guy who was Warren Buffett's mentor. So everything you need to know in a very small and cheap book can tell you everything you need to know about financial investing. Secondly, create a now plan for your finances. Audit yourself. Write everything down. Be religious about it. It's painful, and it's like looking in the mirror when you've got a zit. You don't want to do it, but doing it will start to turn things around. So that's a now plan. Thirdly, create a 10-year plan. I know it sounds like a long time. In the words of Warren Buffett, you want to be long-term greedy, not short-term greedy. Short-term greedy quite often leads to failure and volatility in your life. So a 10-year plan makes sense, and it's realistic and achievable. And to be honest, when you got grey hair like mine, you realise that 10 years comes around real quick. And finally, invest in yourself. You are your greatest asset. You make the decisions. So the inputs into your brain and thought processes are defined by your education, which drives your behaviours and your beliefs. So that's something you can do for yourself now, is invest in yourself, whether it's reading, watching videos, and being very, very careful about the media you let into your brain, because a lot of it is not going to help. I hope you enjoy this. Hope it makes sense to you. Leave a like and subscribe if you want to hear some more. I'm passionate about the subject. I think most people, when they think about it, would be also. Cheers.